district. And I don't know, do we have anybody that has a comment, Donna?
No, we don't.
Okay. We have nothing on our business agenda and nothing on the action agenda. So we'll recess from the regular meeting and go right into a public hearing about the SMPD 2020 preliminary budget and consideration of the 2020 ad valorem tax levy. And we're going to hear from Mr. B. Miller.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. Chuck is going to bring up our first public hearing. I'm not sure which order we're going in, so. Ad valorem tax. So this is our first public hearing for the ad valorem tax for the Shelton Municipal Parks District. So ad valorem taxes, state law, ad valorem taxes, same thing as property taxes. State law limits the annual increase in property taxes that may be imposed to 1% over the previous year, or the annual increase in the implicit price deflator, whichever is less. As of the end of August 2019, the implicit price deflator was at just about 1.4%. So that means that we can levy the full 1% of property tax. The Parks District 2020 budget is built using that full 1%. The county assessor is responsible for evaluating property and making those determinations, and the 2020 collections are based on the work they've done in 2019 for property tax values. Before you is a really hard to see chart that demonstrates the property tax that will be paid in the city of Kent for the Shelton Municipal Parks District. The top line of that is the assessed valuation. This is the citywide assessed valuation. So in 2018, it was about $652.5 million. Went up to 712 in 2019. The 2020 that we have right now is an estimate. We haven't gotten the preliminary numbers from the assessor. So what we've done in this case is we've plugged in the 1% and then backed into these numbers. So it was about a 9% increase in assessed valuation between 2018 and 2019. So we just carried that forward and assumed a 9% evaluation for 2020. The property tax levy is based on, you take the assessed valuation, divide by 1,000, and that will build your levy rate. So again, as property values increase, because we are held to the 1%, the rates decrease. It doesn't mean you pay less, it just means you pay less on your assessment. So in 2018, the Shelton Municipal Park District levy was about 74 cents per thousand levy rate. 2019 was about 69 cents, and based on taking the 2019 revenue and moving that forward, it calculates out to about 65 cents in 2020. So what we have below then is just for discussion purposes only, hypothetical that if you had a $250,000 valued property in 2019, we reduced that by 9% because the property values went up by 9%. It doesn't really work this smoothly in the real world, but so in 2019 you would have had about a $209,000 valuation, 2020 $272,000. You would have paid, based on that valuation and the rates that we have, you would have paid about $170 in 2018 toward the Shelton Municipal Park District levy, 173, and then 177 is our estimate in 2020. So with that, I'd like to opportunity for public comment.
Anyone signed up for testimony?
No, there isn't.
Nobody? All right. At this point, I guess we'll close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting. The next Shelton Metropolitan Parks meeting will be on December 17th at 5:30.
We have one.
Oh, we have one
sorry,
more?
We have one more public
Oh,
hearing.
we have one more. Who's that from? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to speak before we go to public hearing? No. Okay. So we close then?
No, there we go.
Oh, here we go.
So this is the second public hearing on the 2020 Shelton Municipal Park District budget. The budget is some of our general budget assumptions. Property tax will increase by about 1.3%. That's the 1% statutory limit, plus a little bit more for any new construction that will be coming onto the rolls or back payments that are coming in. Some of the expenses, and again, the Shelton Municipal Park District really reimburses our Parks Department and our Recreation Department for expenses outside of the revenue that they generate, those two funds. And so on those funds, our current budget assumptions have an increase of medical for about 6%. We have dental increase of 4% for the Washington Dental Plan and 5% for the Willamette Plan. The public employee retirement systems rate is just about 13%. That is set by the state. Our COLA adjustment, which is based on the West region, is about 3%. Non-labor expenses will increase by CPI, except where there is a known contract amount. And the implicit price deflator, as we just talked about, will be over 1%. We know that's the case now, so we're budgeting the full 1%. And that council will approve the coming updated non-represented salary scale. This chart shows the Shelton Municipal Park District budget. On the top part, the top line is the beginning cash balance in 2019, and then the 2019 budget, and then forwarding the ending cash balance in 19 to the beginning in 2020. Property tax revenues, small amount for forest excise tax. So in 2020, we're estimating about $503,500 in revenues. The expenses, we have in there some costs for the auditor, state auditor, when they come and do their annual budget, or excuse me, their annual audit, some advertising, insurance expenses, and then the city Parks and Rec services for 2020 of about $443,270 at this point in time. For an ending fund balance at the end of 2020 of about $467,000. And below breaks out the recreation piece and the parks piece that adds up to that $443,000. And so with that, again, opportunity for public comment.
Hearing none? All right. No one, right, Donna?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. B. Miller.
Sure.
At this time, I'd like to close the public hearing and resume our regular meeting. The next Shelton Metropolitan Parks Department meeting is on December 17th at 5:50. This meeting is adjourned.